you already know what it is. I'm your boy ys.young Spazz, that's right, and we back with a brand new exclusive interview. That's right, we got 2 interviews on the same episode exclusively. We got my brother Arnold Soko in the building. Shut it down, listen. Producer, editor, videographer, the works, the man's work from then to now. If you know his name, then you know the business, because he in the building. Listen, we're glad to sit down with you. We know you worked with a couple of legends, you worked with some upcoming projects coming up, man. You out here, you doing your thing. And us, the people, the hip hop culture, we want to know, where did it start at? Where did all of it begin at? When you pick up the camera, start editing, when you get the team together, you know what I mean? Like, how did it start? How did all this start for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Like, your studio is awesome. I'm so happy to be here. For me, it's been a long, awesome journey. I moved here to America from Zimbabwe, Africa, like 2004. Went to West High School in Manchester. Then I went to college out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I picked up my first camera and kind of got bit by the acting bug, or you know what I mean? Just entertainment. And then from there, I stumbled upon a Macintosh computer.
It was rap.
And it was a rap, man. I think it was like 2005. I created my first YouTube account. I did my first video, you know what I mean? A little dancing thing. And the rest is just history, man.
History is in the books, man. It's in the book. Well, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm pretty sure a lot of independent artists out there that you've worked with from all aspects of the game, independent businesses, all that stuff that you work with. We know you're working with a podcast. We're gonna touch down on that. You know what I mean? It's my man podcast. You know what I mean? So we gotta do a little pre-promotion for that.
Copy.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you know what I mean? So like, you picked up the camera, you came to America, you know what I mean? You was in West. So like, how was it for you when you picked up the camera? Like what aspect did you want to take in the lane when you started doing your videography?
So pretty much I was just doing little short videos, and the way it worked back then was like a 4-year college, and they had one rule. It was like, freshmen don't get to touch a camera until you're a senior. I didn't like that rule, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of found a little camcorder, and I started filming as a freshman. I had a roommate or a college floor mate who happened to be Kane Beats. He went on to produce Nicki Minaj, Super Bass, Bedrock, super producer. But for some reason, he was on the same floor making beats all night, keeping people up. And I needed some music for one of my videos. And I was like, yo, can I use some of your music? He was like, yo, just take whatever CDs you want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I started experimenting and kind of got into the, music and visuals type mix, I guess.
Now, you see, I'm a big believer that people in your line of the business plays just as much as a major part, especially nowadays when it comes to you know what I mean, pushing the culture, getting the culture out there. Before, it was more about the MCs just standing on the corner, rapping, spitting, vibing it out. But when you're able to have somebody that can record that and show it to the world and break it down in ways that you can't even see it, because there's more than one person looking at it. So you got it from this angle, that angle, you know what I'm saying? So it helps builds the culture. And I listen, I always give it to the videographers all over, you know what I'm saying? Derek G, Kill Videos, everybody always doing their thing. And it's like an honor to always interview one of you guys who a lot of people don't give the flowers to for the culture.
Bro, thank you.
Because it's really part that built the culture, you know what I'm saying? So hey, now you're doing that, and it's a new era.
So can I say something? Since we're talking about directors, because obviously, I grew up watching the Hype Williams, Benny Boom. Golly, bro, what's his name? Lil X, Director X, that's Drake's guy. But he came underneath Hype Williams, and it was kind of cool to study them and see, you know what I mean, how they brought people, this music to us. So trust me, I definitely respect the visual people, but without that music and without that original sound, we got nothing to work with. So you guys pretty much do all the work for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just kind of get to, I don't know, either augment it, you know what I mean, or push it even more if possible.
Yeah. Because I'm a real big firm believer that now, especially now in like the culture of the music, R&B, hip hop, no matter what it is, like you need your videographers, you need that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That like you need it. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to see things nowadays. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
With all the technology going on, cell phones, computers, all this, people want to see it. The more technology they come out with, the more they want to see on demand. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So like now, like you've worked with artists around this area, in the New England area.
Absolutely.
Mad Boy.
Yep. Oh, yep. Shout out to Mad Boy.
Formerly known as Mad Boy, goes by Pelpa now, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, it goes by Pelpa. Shout out Pelpa.
Whew.
Also known as Mad Boy. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. It was so way back then. You know what I mean? And he made a buzz for himself, and you played a part in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
actually, sorry, just going back down memory lane, I remember a music video with Mad Boy and DJ Foreign.
Shout out DJ Foreign.
Shout out DJ Foreign. He's number one right now.
Yeah.
Man, that was just so much fun.
You can imagine all the way back then. That was like a lot of beginnings of a lot of people's careers and you know what I mean? Like their steps and learning the game and knowing knowledge already, being in the game and learning more, and them still doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's why it's always, you know what I mean? Like you always need your videographers, your DJs, you need, you know what I'm saying? Like you need that and in the music culture. Engineers, mixers, you need that. You need that.
Absolutely.
In the culture.
It takes a village.
You know what I'm saying? So like now we have things like podcasts, TV shows,
I love it.
And all independent. Everybody's trying to do their own thing.
I love it.
And just as much as the artists need the videographers and everybody and stuff like that, so do the podcasters, TV shows and all that stuff, because the lanes just keep crossing with each other. You know what I'm saying? So now working with
yes. So right now, I actually moved to New York upstate for like a year. And then Chop Ross called me and he said, he's launching the podcast. And somehow he convinced me to fly back just to shoot episode 1. That was last year. So now we finally, we actually got everything set up. We're filming the last part of it probably in a few days at Hampton Beach. But yeah, we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, he always doing something wild too.
Good
Chop. Times though, yeah, good times with Chop, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
Shout him out, man, for real, man, because you know what I mean, he's always doing the thing. I seen he just had a show not too long ago with the baddies and daddies.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the baddies and daddies too.
Yep.
I think
we
you guys
just had them earlier here on the show.
No, always.
Yep, we did. You know what I mean? So shout out to them, B-Star, the crew. You know
B-Star. And it's a little bit early to announce, but I've been talking to B-Star, and I'm actually attached to direct season 2 of Baddies and Daddies in Boston. So
yep. So that's
gonna be a movie.
It's gonna be a movie. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, it's always good to make connections, reach out to people and stuff like that. So like now in today's technology world, cameras, cinematic world, and all this shit. Like, so like, how does it feel, like knowing that you've grown with the time and eras of everything that's going on?
Absolutely. It feels amazing because, the kids won't understand. Back in the day, like, we had to wait like 15 hours for the computer to finish thinking. You know what I mean? Now, in my phone, I can get that done, in minutes.
Yep. We had dial-up back then. We had to dial up to get online.
And the other thing that changed too is like people are content hungry. Right? So now we stopped watching cable and you go to YouTube more to find what you want. And there's never enough. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Like you always like, oh man.
Catch yourself just scrolling.
Right.
Scrolling.
So
looking for something to find, but you got to pass through so many videos to find something that you find.
Absolutely. So I feel like there's so much space for all of us to start, to content create. I'm so glad you guys took up that space and, kind of set the bar.
Yeah. We've been, you know what I mean? Like, we've been representing the independent artists as you guys out there, you know what I'm saying? We represent you guys out there. And I always say this, there's always a new artist, a new person expressing themselves through music. Even right now as we speak, somebody who's expressing themselves through a painting, through a beat, through a video, through a picture. Like, art is music in so many different ways. And
actually on that point, I was reading Rick Rubin's new book, Creative Way of Being, and talks about how everyone can be a creator, like what you talked about. You know what I mean?
Yep,
especially with TikTok and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And I'm a big believer in that, and everybody can create. Everybody got to find their lane to create. You know what I'm saying? Because you catch those people who are kind of copying other people, and I'm not saying go against the grain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying be creative and express yourself in any way, the same way as somebody else, but make sure it's yourself you're expressing, and not an imitation of somebody else.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Big fact. And that's why when it comes to a videographer, photographer, and you capture the artist's thoughts of what they're rhyming about or vision of what they see, it's original to you from what you're doing for them, and they're seeing it through the way you're putting it together. Podcast, music, everything, you know what I'm saying?
And actually, if I can say, one thing I learned from that book was how each person is like a mirror, or like they refract light, you know what I mean? Yep. So I can listen to a song and have a totally different interpretation of it, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's why sometimes artists don't even correct the lyrics. They're like, if you like that part, sing it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you get to interpret it based off of how you were brought up. I grew up in South Africa, Zimbabwe. If you grew up in New York, Miami, that's going to show up in your work. You know, and that's the best part. Different flavors.
Who got brand new flavor in your ear? You know what I mean? For real, man. So why don't you let everybody know where to contact you at and reach you at for shows, booking, you know what I mean, videography, the works. Listen, man, hit them up.
Well, thank you. My name is Arnold Soko. I'm a video director. I'm here in New Hampshire. Shout out to Nashua. Shout out to Beneficial Bangs. I'm actually doing his next music video, OMG. I'd like you guys to look out for the new podcast, Why You Mad, featuring Chup Ross. Daddies and Daddies, Season 2, B-Star, directed by yours truly. We got a lot of stuff cooking, man. We in New Hampshire, and you know, we super talented too.
That's a big fact. So before we get out of here, what
my Instagram?
Yeah, you do Instagram. Right,
sorry, IG, Director SZN, Director Season. That's Arnold Soko. Sorry.
Arnold Soko the fucking bad.
My bad.
No, we good. So like, what gem would you drop down to somebody looking up to the business and wants to be interested in being a video director, videographer, such?
So, you know, I did say, like, you know, I like people just to follow the spark. If you find something that interests you, follow the spark. Don't worry about the likes. You know what I mean? Just create and send it to the internet. Don't even worry about what other people think. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Just jump out there, you know, put it out there. Don't overthink it. You know, and then I guess lastly would be like, never stop. Put in the hours. You can't cheat the game. I tried. Doesn't work.
Don't work.
You got to put the hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once you put it, like, you start to enjoy it and you get to be proud and become a master craftsman, you know, which is what we're all chasing, to become a master of your craft.
Yep, that's a big
You know?
You heard it first on Soko, become a motherfucking master of your craft.
I'm coming back. I love this place.
Listen, man, we happy to have you come down.
Thank you so much.
It's in charge of Top 10. Stay tuned, man, because we got another exclusive video we dropping right now. Let's go.
Listen.